Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Layla AI, and I'm an instructor on Udemy, where I teach a course on PySpark called PySpark Essentials for Data Scientists. Of course, the first thing my students need to do is set up PySpark before we can start working with it. So I made this video publicly available in case anyone else needed it, and I also linked it to my course for my students. So the guide we will be following today was put together by Chang Lee, who was kind enough to put together a free and very thoughtful step-by-step guide on how to install and run PySpark on Jupyter Notebook for Windows. So we'll be following this guide today. A big thank you to him for putting this together, as it was really helpful for me when I first got started. So let's go ahead and dig in. The first thing we need to do is to go ahead and download Spark using this link here, which I'll just open up in a new window or a new tab. So you can see there's various options here. Go ahead and just click that, and then you'll just click that first link that you see, and we see in the bottom left hand corner that it's downloading for us. Next thing we need to do is to go ahead and install Anaconda, which will include Python, which is what PySpark runs off of. So we can just click this little accept button down here in the bottom right hand corner, scroll down and just click this download button. This is going to take some time to download, but I'm just going to click the 64-bit graphical installer because that matches my distribution, but choose whatever one works for you. And then we can go ahead and close this window. Go back to our guide here and see what's next. Now we need to download this Windows utils, which is a Hadoop binary for Windows, and that's available on this GitHub page. But we see a note here that it has to match the version of Hadoop that we just downloaded. And so that's where we go and just check and make sure that we're getting 2.7, which is what we just downloaded there. We scroll down and we see there's a bunch of options here. We choose 2.7. It's 2.7.1, but there's no other options here, so that's clearly what we're going to choose. Then we click in the bin folder. Then we need to go scroll down and get to the WinUtil.exe. Click there, and then we can just click download from here. You can see that there's we're waiting for GitHub to get a response, and then you'll see it appear in the bottom tab down here because we're using Chrome. All right, we go back to our guide here and see what's next. This number 4, we're going to have to wait until Anaconda gets installed before we can do that. So we'll come back to that one. Next thing we can do is to import Java if we don't have it already. But first we need to check and see if we already have Java installed, because you might actually already have it installed as part of a dependency of something else. So a way that we can check that in Windows is to go to our Start menu, open up our command prompt by typing CMD in the search bar. That gets our command prompt here. And you can type Java or Java-version, either one will work. But if you get this command that says that Java is not recognized as an internal or external command, it means that you don't have it. If you don't have it, we need to go and download it. So just open up, we'll click that Oracle link there, open up a new tab, and then we're just going to click this JDK download here. Scroll all the way down to the bottom on the next page, and I'm going to get this Windows 64-bit installer here, but choose whatever one matches with your distribution. We'll just accept here, click download. That's going to take a bit of time there, so just close that out. Go back to our guide here, see what's next. All right, so it looks like we need to get ZZip. This is a handy way to unzip files on Windows. The Spark folder that we downloaded was a .tgz file, and we need to unzip that. So we need this program in order to do that. So we'll just open up a new tab here, And then I'm just gonna download the 64-bit again here, clicking that download button. Go back to our page here, see what's next we can do while we're waiting for all that stuff to download. Looks like Anaconda is ready here, so we'll go ahead and open that up. Just double click the installer there. I'm going to go ahead and agree here. I'm going to do just for me, and then I'm just going to do the default destination folder. Click next. All the default settings there, unless you know what you're doing and you can choose the appropriate specifications that you need. So it looks like it was ready to go. Now it looks like the Java download is ready, so we can click on that next. Then you'll get this window. You just accept all the default options, and that's going to take a bit of time to install there. So we'll go back to our Anaconda install, see how that's going. Still working on it there. All right, now we can install ZZip, or 7ZZip. Just click that. And here we go, we've got this pop-up here. Just do install, and that was a quick install. Just click the close window there. So that's already installed. Anaconda is still working on things over here. Java is still working. All right, let's see what else we can do here. While that's still going. So the next thing we can do is go ahead and set up our Spark folders. So we go to our downloads folder where we downloaded Spark. And we see here that we've got this Spark 3.0.1 bin Hadoop TGZ folder. We'll just right click that and then select the option for 7-zip. And then we're just going to extract it here. That'll do its thing. Now we have this second folder that pops up that ends in .tar. We also need to unzip that too. And then if we open up the folder that we just unzipped, we see that there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Notably, this folder bin that Chang's guide says that we need to put the WinUtils.exe that we downloaded into that folder. So we'll go ahead and do that. So just click on the WinUtils from our download folder and do Control X to cut. And then we'll go into our Spark folder, then in the bin folder, and then click Control V, and that'll paste it in there for us. All right, we'll just check on Anaconda, see how that's going. Looks like Java finished. So let's go ahead and check and see if that actually worked. So open up our command prompt again, do our Java command. So it's still giving that it's not a recognized command. But don't worry, all we need to do is actually restart our command prompt because it didn't recognize the change. So we'll just close it and open up a new command prompt and try the same command again and just see if that works. So I'm going to do Java space dash version this time and see here that we've got version 15.1.0. So that worked. All right, we're all good to go there. Let's check on our Anaconda, still going. Yeah, that one's going to take some time. Next thing we can do while we're waiting on that to download is to move our Spark folder out of the downloads folder because we wouldn't want to accidentally delete that. So let's go ahead and put it in a better place. I'm going to go ahead and cut, Control X, and then go look for a better spot. I'm going to go in Documents. You can put it wherever you want. I'm just going to create a folder here called Spark. Open that up, and then Control V to paste our Spark folder in there. And we're good to go there. And let's see what else we can do while we're waiting for Anaconda to download. So we did this, number 2 here. We moved the Windows utils downloaded to the bin folder, did that. Number 3 here. All right, so we need to add the environment variables to let Windows know where to find the files when we start up PySpark. So let's go ahead and open up our environment variables. Click this, edit the system environment variables from the Windows startup. And then we'll just click the environment variables button. I'm just going to go ahead and move this over so I can see my screen. And I'll just minimize this window so we can have that as a guide next to us while we're working. Then I need to go back to my Spark folder to get the path that matches where we saved our Spark folder, just like we saw in Chang's guide there. So I'm going to go ahead and click into that, just do the drop down here, and then select that and do Control-C for copy. I'm just going to move this window over so that we can see what we're doing here. All right, so we're in our environment variables, and we want to go ahead and click New here. And the first one we're going to do is Spark_home. And we're just going to paste in that folder up to the end of Hadoop 2.7, just like Chang has there. Same thing here for Hadoop Home. Just paste in the folder that we just copied. And for PySpark driver Python, we're just going to set that equal to Jupyter. No changes to make there. It's just going to be exactly as it is in the guide. But make sure it's lowercase. And then we need to add our PySpark driver Python OPTS and set that equal to notebook. All right, and then the next thing we need to do is edit our path variable. And we need to have that be the Spark folder with /bin added to it. So the same folder that we just copied, we're just going to add /bin to it, just like in the guide here. Don't match what Chang has in his guide because that's specific to his system. Go ahead and maximize that window again. Chang has an optional step here, step 5, but we don't need to do that. You only need to do that if there's a problem. So we'll go ahead and skip that for now. All right, so it looks like C here is really just opening up PySpark in Jupyter, which our Anaconda install needs to be done before we can do that. So we just need to go check on that. All right, so now it looks like our Anaconda is finished downloading. Just install it here. Keep all the default options. Here, and then you'll get this pop-up window. You can just close that. And we are all set and ready to go. Anaconda is installed on our local machine. So now let's go ahead and open up the Anaconda PowerShell, which is our command prompt. Just go over to our Windows Start menu and click Anaconda PowerShell. So this is different from your command prompt that we did the Java command in. This is specific for Anaconda. And it looks like we need to install a package called FindSpark, which we're going to do a little bit differently than the guide shows here. Just do pip install FindSpark. And wait for that to download. Looks like it was successful. And then the second thing we need to do, which the guide doesn't explain, is that we need to also pip install PySpark, which is the library that is going to have all the dependencies we need to do our programming in for PySpark. And then while we're waiting for that to download, we can go ahead and open up our Jupyter Notebook so that we're ready to go and test once that finishes installing. I'm just going to use Google Chrome as my browser. Jupyter runs in your local browser. That doesn't mean that it's publicly accessible. It's just running locally in your browser for the user interface. You can save your first notebook wherever you want. I'm just going to do it in my documents folder. Go ahead and open up a new notebook here. Check on our installation, see how that's going. Looks like it's still running. So, and then we can just come over here and copy this bit of code here using Control-C and then paste it over in our notebook. My first PySpark notebook is what I'll title this one. I'm just going to rename it. You don't have to do that. Paste that in here. We'll check on our installation again. Looks like it's still going. Let's give that a bit more time. All right, and it finished up. So with that, we are all set up. We've downloaded everything that we need, and we can go ahead and test our code out that we pasted in here. And if this works, then our installation was successful. That little star over here at the top means that it's just thinking about running it, and then you may get this pop-up window. You'll just click allow access, and boom, there we go. We've got our output. If this is the output that you see, then the installation was successful. If not, then Chang has a couple of other tips for solutions that you can go through if you got stuck anywhere. But that does it for this guide. We did not have any problems setting up, so it looks like he did a great job putting that to-do notebook together. So thank you again for putting that together, Chang. It was very helpful. If you have any questions, just write them in the comments below. If you're a student of mine, you can go ahead and write your comments or shoot me a message in Udemy for any help. But I'd be happy to help anyone regardless of where they're posting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you're my student, I'll look forward to seeing you in the next lecture. If not, have a great rest of the day. Bye.